blah, blah, blah.
PBS Kids!
Nostalgia. My first video covered the history of Noggin, a children's brand owned by Viacom that was launched in 1999. Therefore, it is only natural that I follow that video up with one about the history of another 90s-2000s children's TV brand, and one that arguably has an even larger fan base than Noggin's. That's right, I'm talking about PBS Kids. I'm sure every single person watching this video knows about this phenomenal and iconic brand. Whether you grew up in the late 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, or even the 2010s, you probably watched at least one PBS Kids show during your formative years. Yes, I know the name PBS Kids didn't exist in the 60s, 70s, or 80s, more on that later. I remember watching shows like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, Arthur, Reading Rainbow, Clifford the Big Red Dog, Clifford's Puppy Days, Thomas and Friends back when it was still somewhat decent, Super Y, Curious George, Sid the Science Kid, Between the Lions, Dinosaur Train, Dragon Tales, Barney the Purple Dinosaur, Sesame Street, and many more. I also remember playing mostly Curious George games on the PBS Kids website, as well as playing Word Girl games on the website with my best friend from daycare. So, let's dive on in and discuss the history of this legendary channel. Children's programming has been a part of PBS's history since the beginning, even back during the era of the predecessor of PBS, NET, or
the National Educational Television Network.
This included programs such as Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, NET Playhouse, and even Sesame Street. When NET was replaced by PBS in 1970, the children's programming of the network became known as 4Kids. So yeah, we're getting closer, but we're not quite there yet. Shows that premiered during the 4Kids era include The Electric Company, Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends, Reading Rainbow, 321 Contact, Shining Time Station, The Big Comfy Couch, Kid Songs, Ghost Rider, Long Ago and Far Away, Newton's Apple, and Square One Television. On July 11th, 1994, PBS rebranded their children's programming as PTV as part of the Ready to Learn project, a project with the goal of getting educational programming to children of poorer families. This introduced the P-Heads, characters shaped like PBS logos who would appear in bumpers between shows. The PTV style was very early 90s in its design, from the graffiti-esque animations to the pastel colors. Shows that aired during the PTV era include Barney and Friends, Arthur, Kratts Creatures, Zaboomafoo, Bob the Builder, Teletubbies, JJ the Jet Plane, The Hug-a-Bug Club, and Theodore Tugboat. On September 6, 1999, PBS Kids underwent a major facelift, one that introduced the two characters that thousands of children have witnessed in bumpers and interstitials over the years, and are still around nearly 20 years later, Dash and Dot. Along with these two characters, a new style was introduced that was very simplistic in 2000s. I'll never forget those bumpers.
Doink.
PBS Kids! PBS Kids!
Ah, yes. Shows that followed this facelift include Between the Lions, Dragon Tales, Ward World, Curious George, Clifford the Big Red Dog, Clifford's Puppy Days, Booba, Sagwa the Chinese Cat, Cyber Chase, Caillou, Dinosaur Train, Sid the Science Kid, Martha Speaks, and Super Y. On October 11th, 2004, a new offshoot of PBS Kids called PBS Kids Go was introduced. PBS Kids Go was aimed at grade schoolers who were too old for standard PBS Kids, i.e. 6 to 12-year-olds. Shows that aired on this new block include Maya and Miguel, Fetch with Rough Ruffman, Ward Girl, Design Squad, Psy Girls, Fizzy's Lunch Lab, the Electric Company reboot, and Wild Kratts. On October 7th, 2013, a lot happened with PBS Kids. First, PBS Kids Go was sadly discontinued. Second, the worst PBS Kids show ever, that is, Peg Plus Cat premiered. And third, the overall style of PBS Kids was updated to look more 2010s, which included a new kind of simplistic styling with even more simplicity than before. Also, the mascots were changed. Dot remained as one of the mascots, but Dash was eliminated, and in his place, Del, who has a raccoon tail for whatever reason, and Dee, who goes around screwing with her siblings, were introduced. Luckily, Dash isn't completely dead, as he has appeared in merchandise since then and is always present in the PBS Kids logo. As for the state of PBS Kids today, the shows are hit and miss. Yes, you still have some good shows like Odd Squad, Curious George, Martha Speaks, Arthur, and the app-exclusive show, The Rough Ruffman Show. But then you have some shows that aren't that great, like Nature Cat, Ready Jet Go, and Wildcrats. And then, of course, there are shows like Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood, Pinkalicious, and Peterific, whatever the hell that means, and Peg Plus Cat that are just... how can I put this lightly? God awful.
We're gonna mix them up.
Oh yeah, just tell me when to squeeze.
How much milk should I pour in?
How much chocolate do you picture?
Oh no!
We can't make chocolate milk if we don't know the right mixture.
Of course, I'm sure there are some people out there who like these shows. I mean, I loved Super Y when I was younger, and now I despise it because it's horrible in reality. Like I mentioned before, the PBS Kids fandom is huge, even larger than Noggins. Now, most of the stuff this fandom produces is weird and sometimes, questionable. But most of the people I have talked to in that community are cool people. So if you like, check out the fandom and get involved. Or just binge watch your favorite shows, it doesn't matter. Anyway, thanks for watching, and stay tuned.
It's not easy for me keeping secrets.
You must tell the world who you are.
How?
I'll show you. Now you write the letter G, Grover.
Get children excited about reading and writing by proudly displaying the letters and words they write.
Now the whole world will know I am Super Grover! Wow! I'm okay!
PBS Kids, ready to learn. We're getting kids ready for school and ready for life.